I'm going to give a little piece of info of how I basically go down and search for opportunities. Maybe like a week ago, I set up this thing called Sector Leaders. I went to, I think it was FinViz. Let's take a look. Yeah, I went into the sectors here, and I basically knocked out. I took the top 4 or 5 names out of each sector, put them in a list, labeled the list. Discount stores. What's this one? Beverages, household. Some of these I may not have used, but this is industrials, farm and heavy construction, aerospace and defense. And so I created this list over here, which is pretty massive. But what I'm doing, I'm using that thing to give me an idea of like what are the top names in each sector that I want to take a look at. So let's see. One of the first names that I'd scanned this earlier today and picked out a few names, like Apollo Global was one of them that kind of came up as an opportunity to either try to swing trade or sell cash secured puts on. As you can see here, we've got a demand zone down here at, what is this, 104 down to around 100. Bullish trend at the moment. This is a one day chart. And so right now it's trying to act constructive. Looks like the supply zone's all the way up here at the 133 spot, and we're hanging out at 107 right now. So what I do is I have a few different indicators that I look at. Let's check this one. I'll have to go back to APO, wherever she's at. Let's see. All right. So blue candle can indicate, as you can see here, it didn't follow through, but I'm using different screeners here. So that's a 1 week. That's a 1 week chart. Let's look at we've got blue candles here at 105. We're hanging out at 107. So for the most part, I would probably give this one consideration. Maybe try to sell cover calls. Cash secured puts down here at 100. Let's look at the trend. So this one's been on a sell signal since, let's see, January 23rd. And it looks like she's flattening out, trying to get constructive. Point of control here is 135. This is like a 1 year chart here. As you can see down here, let me open this up. So you have your MACD and your signal. So the green is the signal. The MACD is the red. And typically when you have, let's turn that. Typically when you have the MACD crossing back over the signal line, that's when you'll have a little bit of an uptrend here. When the MACD crosses back, you're going to get, crosses back below the signal line. You can see that downtrend. So right now, on this one, pretty neutral. Looks like we had, if I can get this manipulated, looks like right here, we had the MACD cross above the signal line, which we did have some green. It looks like we're just trading sideways right now. So this is one of them that I'm going to keep an eye on as far as like selling cash secured puts on, and also the potentially use it as a swing trade. Let's see. Yeah, see, it shows the demand zone down here. So, sell in the demand zone or just below and see if you can't have a little bit of success. What's another one here? I should have scored these things a little better. Um, this is Wells Fargo. Looks like we have blue candle here at $76. We're trading at 80 at the moment. Trend is bullish on the 1 day. She had really fallen from, around $90 or a little above down here into the low 40s. 74 area. Yeah, so sitting at 80 right now. So this is another one that, you got a couple of different demand zones here that you could potentially sell options on to see if it wouldn't, hold that zone, and then you'd be able to collect premium. Let me hit it up on a couple other. Let me look at the 1 week. This one's going to be on WFC. Yeah, do have a blue candle there. Let's look at. So this thing's been riding a sell signal from, it's back in January. Yeah, January 14th. But things started to look constructive on March 20th. Started to get a little better and starting to ride up. So point of control here is basically right, $80. So this is another one. If it wants to continue to hold this $74 range, you could sell cash secured puts it at that spot and see if you can't collect premium on that one. Let's look at another. This one was a little different. As you can see, it's pretty much been trading sideways. This is mid-January, straight through. I wanted to look this company up and see what its strengths and weaknesses are, but like I said, it's been hanging sideways for a couple months here, and so at some point it's probably going to make a decision whether it wants to go higher or if it wants to trend back lower. Let me find a little better one here. Just for the hell of it, let's look at Amazon. This is another one. Chopping sideways. Point of control is $222. We're sitting at 209 right now. When we get down to the upper 190s, let's look at this one on this 1 week here. Oh, for goodness sakes. Oh, for goodness sakes. All right. Yeah, we have just been sort of in no man's land here on Amazon. I know it gets talked about a little bit as being one of the laggards that probably should be getting a little more notice, but as far as the price action, it hasn't been there. Using these different indicators here to see. Yeah, it's sitting. Yeah, once it fell off that 240 mark, all the way down here to 200, it has just been a sideways runner. I'm trying to see if any of these different indicators tell me anything, but really, we've been straight up sideways here. That's all I see on that one. That one's probably not one that I would. I mean, potentially you could sell cash secured puts down here at the, the 199, 200 level. Try to collect premium. It seems like it's been holding that here. What date is this? February 13th. So, we're more than a month out from it hanging out in that demand zone. It just wicked down here, then came back up above 200. So, yeah, probably I'd have to look and see what the premiums are on that. If it's worth putting some contracts out there. Let's see another one here. SYK. I don't know that one, but I wrote it down. Looks like it's had a hell of a ride to the downside. Momentum is bearish. That's on the 1 day. I don't remember why I wrote this one down. Stryker Corporation. Yeah, I don't even know what the hell they do. I don't know why I looked at this one. I don't know if it was because it's tapping that trend line. But at the moment, that's probably not one of those that I'm going to be playing with. I'm not really sure why I wrote that one down. Let's take a look at Thermo Fisher. Thermo Fisher. This might have been one that I wrote down because after it had fallen a little bit, it looks like it's trying to get constructive down here. Well, the point of control of this chart is, 423, and it's trading at 491. Here's another high volume area here at 478. It looks like it pretty much bounced off that area. This is the 1 day. We did get a blue candle here on March 20th, and we've been constructive since. These blue candles with the wick down, those have not been the constructive ones. With the blue candle with the wick up, they have been. I'd have to look and see what the options contracts have been on this one too. This might be one of those where you could sell one or two contracts and see if you can't collect premium, but I'd really have to figure out where I want to put that strike price. So you'd feel comfortable that whatever you chose as your strike price would be something that would be constructive. So this one here shows the demand zone down here at the 457 at the bottom, 460 in the middle of the demand zone. That goes back to September of last year. So it did bounce off of that area, but it looks like it's getting into the supply area up here. So you may be able to sell cash secured puts down here in the 460 area. I don't know what the premiums would be on that. I'll have to pull that up. So anyway, here's a few tickers that, like I said, maybe I'll do one more. Let's do COO. I can't remember what a COO is. Okay, it's another one that had fallen from the low 80s down here into the low 70s. Demand zone shows it to be in the upper 60s. So we're trading at $70.17 right now. It's another one of those where You're playing the demand zone. Are you going to sell cash secured puts, down here to see if you can't collect premium, see if it'll defend, see if it doesn't give another run up here to the mid 70s level. Let's look at the 1 week here. One week's chilling, still showing no blue candles yet. Let's look at the 1 day. Yeah, it's just chopping right now. It's trying to figure out if it's going to defend that demand zone or if it's not. So look at one more. I might have done this one already. Yeah, let's look at it. All right, demand zone's up here at the $80, $81 level. We're down here at the 70 spot. Let's see. Well, the MACD has just crossed above the signal line. This is the wave trend here. This one has also crossed back positive just barely. So maybe it's trying to get constructive. You can see it's come down here into that's the oversold area and starting to rise back up. All the way up here would be the overbought area at the top of this range. This white line down here represents oversold for sure. Pretty much deeply oversold. It was a pretty good sell-off there. So looks like it's trying to get constructive. So this might be another one to try to sell some cash secured puts down here below it to see if it can't defend that. But it's another company where I'd want to know, how are they operating right now in the conditions that we're in. So anyway, that's about, what have we done? About 20 minutes of a little bit of what I've been working on this weekend. Like I said, I had made this sector leaders, I don't know, recently. And I just started going through today, just clicking on each one. I'm like, okay, does this one look constructive? Yes or no? Does this one look constructive? Yes or no? And so then if I would find one that would look a little bit interesting, then, like I said, I would run through my different indicators here and see if, they sort of matched up. If something's given me a positive feel on one of the indicators, do the other one support it? So anyway, just kind of out there hunting for opportunities and getting ready for the long weekend. So, all right. Happy Good Friday to everyone.